quickly start by asking you, what is your role at VTT? How do you describe what you do there?
Well, my official role is a smart manufacturing lead, which means that I'm working with the manufacturing industry quite widely, looking at the digitalization, automation, the transformation of work in the manufacturing industry, but also in my kind of a lead role, I'm looking also more broadly about what's happening in the industry, so transforming the whole industry in different areas. Also, I'm trying to build different cooperations with the companies and with the research at VTT level.
Okay, great. Well, that's perfect because the topic of today we were going to discuss is exactly that, transformation of industrial work. So before we talk about the transformation, let's define industrial work. So just so we're starting at the right place. So what do we mean by industrial work?
So how we have defined it in our project or our work, so we talk about industrial work. So we mean the people who are really working with their hands on in different industrial tasks, which means that the people who are working in, for example, in manufacturing industry, different kinds of factories or that kind of uh, places, or for example, in construction area, working with the smart buildings construction or with the mobility or logistics or that kind of things where people really work with their hands on and go to work like usually on site every day. So that's how we have defined industrial work in our projects.
Okay. A common question that I always hear is this solving a problem or is it to just improve a process that's already working fine, just to improve it? Or is it to solve some challenge, some problem? How do you see it?
We see, or I see that it's solving a problem of the employment kind of a crisis, that these kinds of companies don't get enough workers currently. So these kinds of
Mm,
tasks are not attractive for younger generation, for
mm,
example, and there is this generational change anyway. So people are retiring, and these kinds of industries are not attractive to younger people or for some of the current workers. They don't stay there. So that is a kind of an actually urgent problem with these kinds of companies who are employing lots of people, so who employ these workers in their sites, construction sites or factories or that kind of stuff. So they don't find people who to work there enough. So that's a problem we try to solve by renewing the whole way of working and kind of also renewing the image of that kind of industries to attract more people and skilled people and the talents to work in these kinds of industrial tasks.
I see. Yes, that makes sense. Okay, could you give me some examples? So, how is the technology used in the field?
So some examples we have discussed with the companies is, for example, to make the workers skilled to do more diverse tasks than currently. So now the situation is often that person is a very good expert in some certain tasks, but then when we are capable of bringing them more information, for example, through augmented reality or some digital twins, so they see more of things, they get more skills, and also this remote support. So creating these kinds of teams of people working locally and remotely, and then also having some artificial intelligence to help the people. So for example, if a person who's working in some certain task in a maintenance operation or a factory operation, so that person will get some help from a remote expert. So then and also several remote experts, so not only just one and one, but also with the pool of experts, so they can better cooperate in these kinds of tasks. So during one visit or one tasks the person is capable of doing, for example, 5 different tasks. He was not capable of to do that before, but now with the help of the technology, with the data he gets and with the assistance he gets or she, or then the remote expert support. So that's why we also try to increase the productivity of the work. So we try to do more things at the same time.
Mm. And is a lot of this dependent on wearable headsets, or do we have solutions today with handheld devices?
Yeah, I think it must have many different ways to work with the new technologies or with the information. So I think it's not just about the headsets or the glasses or that kind of things, but also, of course, then the haptics things and also to use you can access some like digital twins also with your mobile phone or tablets or even see some other ways to see the information there. But then it's also about this kind of a cooperative immersive workspace that also people are then capable of working together there. But then also other thing that this whole change, I think it's not only about the headsets or that kind of devices that you need to carry, but it's also kind of a way of working and a way of like sharing information. And some quite recent term that has now risen is this decentralized autonomous organizations, is DAO. So for example, that can bring some novelty also the way these organizations or people will work in the future. So this whole transformation and the amount and quality of data and that brings also other possibilities, for example, to employment and things and new platforms to offer expertise. So it will change the whole way the companies will be organized and how the people can offer their own expertise and that kind of, there are many things.
Wow. Yeah, it's exciting to see this change happening right now around us. How would you define the metaverse in one sentence? Do you think it's possible?
I don't know if it's possible, but I can try. So I think it's a combination of physical and virtual worlds which enable cooperation in this cooperation between people and technology and AI. So I think there must be this physical and virtual both, and then there must be this cooperation. So that is how I could define it.
I love that. Three key three key words, three key concepts: physical, virtual, and cooperation.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that's a great definition. So let me ask you a little bit about your personal journey. When did you first come into contact with the metaverse or this kind of immersive technologies? What was your personal history?
Yeah, I think I started working with the how I called it metaverse for the first time was I think almost exactly 1 year ago. And how I came into that was that we had been working with the term called autonomy, so autonomous industry. So how the industry is transforming towards autonomous industry and also in that way increasing the sustainability. But how we looked into the autonomy, so we had 3 angles. So first, like the technological autonomy, so all this automation, robotics, and that kind of things to bring more like this self-learning and self-correction and that kind of things towards the technology. So that was a technological point of view. The second angle to the autonomy was the autonomy of industrial work. So how the teams who are working, so teams consist of people, robots, artificial intelligence. So how to bring more autonomy to those teams so that they can better decide themselves how to organize the work and how to divide the tasks between them. And then the third angle towards the autonomy was the geopolitical autonomy. So how to bring that kind of things to the industry. So how to be autonomous in terms of some critical technologies or critical expertise and that kind of things. So that from the autonomy of industrial work, so increased autonomy there, that led then towards the metaverse. Then when I heard more about the term metaverse, so that then kind of excited me so much that I started to look more into that angle and for this transformation of industrial work. So that is how it started towards this more about the transformation of industrial work in terms of industrial and human-driven industrial metaverse.
Okay, great. Now, this term autonomy, what do you think the long-term goal is, or the direction that we're heading towards? If everything becomes more and more autonomous, what does that allow, or what does that leave for humans? What does that allow humans to do when things are automatically doing themselves?
Well, I would like to see that also for people, the increased autonomy affects also people, that we as people are more autonomous. We are more capable of doing more like things that we are good at, we like, which motivates us. So this developed technology also allows us to better use our own strengths, and so it gives also us more autonomy, because the technological autonomy, things get more autonomous. So this means that people don't need to do those dull, dirty, dangerous tasks that we of course want to give those tasks to automation or robotics. So people will do different kinds of work in the future, which is better for people, where we are good at. So I think it's good for us, for everybody, that we get to choose and we get to select what fits best for us.
Absolutely. Yeah, I agree. I think it frees us to be more creative, and I think it, you know, some people don't see the big picture when they say that there's, it's taking away jobs, but it's actually giving us more opportunity.
Exactly. It's taken away those jobs that are, as said, this triple D, dull, dangerous, and dirty. So I think it's good for all of us that people don't need to do those tasks anymore. So different kinds of robots or drones or whatever are these, that automation is now handling those tasks. And I think we are not missing those tasks. So I think it's very good for us that we can do the things that are good for us, that don't take us into some dangerous situations or improve our. I think we are aiming for the tasks more and more that are good for also our mental health and for our well-being, and people are really now currently concerned about how their wealth and or their
Health.
health is not wealth but health as so that kind of things are now easier when we allow the technology to help us.
There's a word that we haven't mentioned, because we talked a lot about collaboration, and there's a word that we haven't mentioned, which is education. It might not be where you have to go to school for a long period of time to learn for a long period of time. You can get information instantly, so educated much quicker. Would you say that that's a big aspect of it?
Yes, I think that's a big aspect, because now there is so much more information available, as you
Yeah,
said. So it's much faster to learn many more tasks that was ever before possible. So I think exactly the people will be much more skilled if they are capable of using this
exactly.
information, and then this like sharing our expertise with each other. So helping each other, and then making us more skilled than
Yeah,
before. So I think that's a really good point.
because what is, if you ask what is skill, 100 years ago, skill would be what I can remember and what my physical brain memory can store and what my muscle memory can store. But
Mm.
now technology can help us remember and store more. So we have more skills more often for longer, I feel.
Yeah, and the technology can also kind of monitor us so that the technology can say based on our actions and based on our like micro movements or that kind of thing. So they can say that, okay, now you look a little bit like stressed or that kind of thing. So maybe I could give you some other types of examples, or maybe just adjust the task you are doing a little bit or that kind of things. And then also providing this kind of assistance based on your current needs. So also bringing this flexibility. So AI can help you, for example, with the tasks individually, so that it also helps us better to cope with the work and with everyday life when the technology is now capable of better interpreting our like how am I now at this moment.
Yeah, that's a good point. Like I remember when I was younger in film school, when I would get into like the film editing room and I would just start working and then forget to eat and forget to stop. And just because I'm in the zone, and then I realize it's 9 hours later and I'm just like, maybe I'm tired and sick the next day. So yeah, what you're saying is now we don't have to rely on ourselves to remember, hey, maybe I can adjust this work to fit my current capabilities.
Exactly. If you want so that must be so that the people can have like the last word. So if I think that I could use that kind of help, then I can get it. But I think it's not good to force anyone to use that. Okay, now someone is saying that take a break or what that kind of things. But yes, that's possible. And if you think that you could benefit from that kind of help, it's possible. Yes, because that's also said before, that people are now more focusing on their well-being and work-life balance and that kind of thing. So all these now are better available to help us cope with the situation.
Okay. All right. So just to finish off, uh, can you tell me, Karoliina, what are you looking forward to in the next near future? What's exciting you in the next year or so?
I would really like to see the how these metaverse capabilities, how they will actually go to these industrial work sites. So what are the next actions towards this like a bigger leap in this? So not now we are seeing lots of these like point solutions, so solving some current need, but I would like to see this bigger change, so more like radical changes for the way of working and creating these cross-industry solutions so that we can really uh, get to the next point. So that's what I would really love to see, the courage from the industry to change the work.
Okay, I was just about to ask you, what is stopping it? What's the bottleneck? What's preventing us? So is it just the courage, or what is required in order to for mass adoption to happen?
It's of course it's courage. It takes we don't have ready solutions yet, so it's not something that, okay, if you have courage you can just go and buy it. It's not like that, but that there is needed this like long-term strategies for the companies to make their plans and commitment towards this change, and then really be open-minded to think about these future work tasks. How could those be? And also think about, of course, the business benefits, but also I think I still want to stress this human-driven point of view. So we need to try to develop solutions that people want to use, what people feel that it's good for them. This is helping me in my daily tasks. So of course, then I want to use it, and then the markets will explode if people find solutions that they want to use, and the companies are um, seeing that this gives business benefits for them. And then if there are no like regulations or that kind of things that are stopping it, then I think the technology will follow. The technological development will follow if there are these markets available and the people are like eager to get those into use. So that's why I think it's important to start from this human point of view.
Wow, great. Beautifully put. So thank you very much, Karoliina. It was a real pleasure speaking to you.
Thank you. It was really nice. Thank you for having me here.